say what up. God bless everybody, man. Hope everybody's having a blessed Friday. Hope y'all have a blessed weekend, man. Stay safe out there. Protect yourself at all times, man. Watch your surroundings all the time. Uh, Send my prayers to all them people out there, man, going through that bad weather right now with them tornadoes right now that are live on the ground out in Minnesota and everything like that. Hopefully here in Michigan we don't get hit that hard, man. But I just wanted to come on here, man, say what's up for a minute, man. I jumped off yesterday, man, because my son came home and stuff like that with his girl again, and so I jumped off. I didn't know who it was at first, but yeah. So I just wanted to do a little follow up, man. Say what's up to everybody, man. God bless everybody. Hope everybody has a safe, blessed weekend, man. Also, just want to come out here, man. Like, I just want to let something like, yeah, I am a spiritual person, man, and I know, you know, I know about all that stuff, man. Spiritual warfare, all that stuff like that. It is what it is. The haters are the haters. You must be doing something right and doing something good, man, if you got haters talking about you. So, like they say, don't hate the player, hate the game. You know, but yeah. Hopefully you guys can hear me, man. If you guys can hear me, give a thumbs up. Comment. At least say something up in here. So I can make sure everything's good. But yeah, man. I'm not gonna be on here like long, man. I'm just gonna shoot the BS there for a minute and let something be known. Um, I have done dropped enough content, even though I got so much content, man. It's crazy to expose about what I've been going through with these law enforcement, officers, the state of Michigan. You know, PSY Duck is cool. If everything's good, man, you can hear me, man. Put a thumbs up, please, and let me know. Smash the thumbs up, man. If you guys, you can hear me. Because if you can't hear me, man, it's probably because they sitting there, monetizing my stuff, man. So hopefully you guys can hear me. But like I said, man, uh, I'm back, man. Like I'm about to get back into my stuff. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. I'm about to get back into my stuff, man. Like I after everything that I've gone through, man, these last 5 years, man, with the state of Michigan, the courts, these law enforcement officers coming by my home, trying to harass, intimidate, me and my kids, my family. Man, they're still flying over my house, man. They were over my house last night, man. I made my neighbor aware, man, and they've been taking pictures and stuff like that. And my neighbor too, man. My neighbor that lives right kitty corner. What's up, man? Ask a question. What's up? Yeah, said ask whatever you want, man. What's up, Ionic? Boxers or briefs? I got boxers, bro. Straight boxers. Sometimes, man, you gotta free ball it. Boxers all day. Man, I got boxers on, bro. You want to see, bro? Look, I got boxers on, brother. Them some boxers right there. Yeah, boxers all day, man. That's what's up, man. I'm glad I can finally see y'all up in the chat, man. Like that's what's up, man. I appreciate that. Hell yeah, boxers are comfortable, man. But yeah, like I was saying though, man, my neighbor across the street, man, I finally, hid right around the corner from my house, man. His ex passed away, uh, and I haven't talked to him, man, in a few months. And he stopped by. Hell yeah, appreciate it, brother. I appreciate it, man. Much love, man. Hell yeah. Thanks for subbing, man. But yeah, man, my neighbor and stuff, man. Like I know what's going on, man. I know they're using fake accounts, all that stuff. You know, but I can care less about all that stuff, man. But you know what, man? I'm back. Uh, it's time for me to get down to business. Um, you know, I need to start. I need to start doing something about this stuff, man. Like I know I've been putting it all over social media and stuff like that. Uh, what's up, Mohali? Thanks, bro. Yeah, man, dude, it sucks, man. Do I support you? I have to look, bro. I have to look you up, man. I'll look you up. I'll see what you do. Shoot, if you're dropping some good stuff, man, I'll follow you. Hell yeah, man, I'll support anybody, man. You know, what's up, Stephanie Tunes? No, hell no, I'm not gay, bro. Far from that. I ain't gay. If you're gay, that's on you, man. I don't roll like that. Strictly female, man. Sorry. I'm not against it though. Like I said, if you're gay, man, that's on you. You know, just don't cross my line. Don't disrespect me though. That's all I ask. You know, if we're ever out chilling and people want to mess with you, man, like, and somebody tries to come and start at you, man, I got your back all day. I'm from the United States. I'm from Michigan. Yeah, I'm from my ma too. That's you. If you like them oiled up, man, that's all on you, bro. But like I was saying, man, um, you know, I appreciate you guys subbing, man. I'll look you guys up. If you guys drop content, whatever, man, heck yeah, I'll follow you guys back. It is what it is, man. It's all about showing respect and showing love back. So, like I was saying, man, my neighbor, man, he finally stopped over, man, and me and him finally talked. And, you know, I had some words with him, man, how I felt, because I'm a straight up blunt forward person, you know. So, like I said, man, you know, now my neighbor's aware of it and he sees it himself, and now he's showing other people what is going on over here. You know, that how they're surveilling the area, all that stuff like that. You know, now he's making it aware to other people, man. You know, and he seen it last night. He seen it last night himself, man, and he come out of his house around 12, between 12 1 o'clock last night, and he said they were hovering over my house, right above my house, real low, a green and red light, and he said that it was, you could tell it was something flying, and he said it was hovering just right up over my home, man. You know, just posted up. You know, I could care less anymore, man. If they could surveil, but they could watch me, whatever they want to do, man. I'm not worried about it one bit. I'm gonna keep dropping my content. I'm gonna keep that's fucked up, man. That's fucked up. You're gonna sit there and spike men's drinks and take advantage. That's fucked up, bro. You gotta take advantage of people, man. Damn. Shouldn't have to take advantage of people, man. That's messed up, man. But like I was saying, man, I know what these people are trying to do. I know what they're doing. I know what they've been doing, and you know, now is the time where, you know, I got to get back down to business, man, and I got to, you know, start. I'm not going to let these people throw me off track. You know, I'm not going to let them sit there and, you know, draw me off focus, all that stuff like that. They can do whatever they want, man. It is what it is. You know, like I said, standing up for myself, standing up for my family, standing up for my kids, and standing up for my homestead, man. And I'm gonna stand down at 100 to the fullest. And you know, I tried 4 times. 4 times I tried to reach out to the chief of the police to sit there and come to my home. 3 times on the phone, recorded a phone call, voicemail, and then I went in there March 19, 2026, man, in person to try to talk to him. 4 times I tried. Yeah, I know, man. I'm not. From here on out, brother. Like I said, or Stephanie, sorry. From here on out, starting this weekend, I am done dropping content on these people for their corruption and their wrongdoings and them targeting, harassing, and trying to intimidate, all that stuff like that. It's hard. I've done exposed enough on my YouTube channel, just what I have on how corrupt these people are up here. And from this day forward, I am going to be reaching out to other people who are in this area and who are exposing the stuff themselves, and they have been, and they're content creators on YouTube. I'm going to sit there and start reaching out to these people and try to network with these people. You know, if I can learn something from these people, man, I'm all for learning, you know, when it comes to this YouTube stuff. You know, I'm not one of these people like I said, man, when I started my YouTube channel, man, I really did not want to expose this stuff on my YouTube channel. The stuff happened. I had to stand up for my rights, man, and protect myself and defend myself, because I should not be held in my home against my will and because of their wrongdoings. I'm not doing it, man. Like, now is my time. I gotta sit there instead of, you know, just keep talking the talk on here and stuff like that. Now it's time I gotta walk the walk, because you know what? Like I said, I've tried 4 times and offered them to come to my home. You want to surveil my home? You want to do all this stuff? You know what? Like I said, I don't do drugs. I don't sell drugs. I don't sell guns. I don't have a gun. I've never owned a gun in my life. None of that stuff. I got my family, whatever, like that. I'm drawing my line right here, man. You know, and, you know, if they would have never did what they did to me, wrongfully and unlawfully and all that stuff like that, I would not be sitting here talking to you guys about this stuff. To be straight up, I would not be on here talking about this stuff. You know, when I had my license back and they wrongfully took them from me in 2021, after I paid everything, I had nothing, no fine, nothing. If they would have gave me my stuff back, like I should be entitled to, they forced me to give up my medical marijuana card that I had for like almost 7 years, I believe it was. You know, I was one of the first people in Michigan to have a medical marijuana card. When they had it was just medical. So they forced me to give up that, which it's still legal. Like they can't stop me from using marijuana, smoking marijuana, you know, whatever. Like, you know, they can't stop me. So from here on out, man, like I said, now it's time for me to walk the walk and actually start doing something about it and reaching out to people. You know, I am going to start, I'm going to be in a bunch of other people's, you know, lives, you know, because I follow a lot of people, man, and a lot of people that I follow on YouTube, man, I like their content. You know, if I was back out there in the free world, man, I would be dropping a whole different style of content, man. I'd be back doing all the music stuff, the promoting, you know, I would be back, I would be dropping so much different content every day. It's crazy. I wouldn't be sitting here talking about a corrupt system and, you know, being deprived of your rights and, you know, and then you got these law enforcement that want to come and, you know, on your property, so, you know, take pictures, all that stuff like that from midnight till 6 in the morning. You know, it's crazy. Like, if you guys were surveilling and stuff like that, man, and you guys thought that I was selling drugs and guns, why the fuck didn't you guys come and raid my fucking home, man? I offered you guys 4 times to sit there and come out to my home. You guys didn't want to come out. You guys didn't want to talk to me, whatever. I'm done, man. You know? So you guys can surveil me all you want. I don't care. I'm not going to worry about it no more. I'm about to go back to what I was doing. I'm about to get back into my law stuff, and I'm going to keep studying more. I'm going to keep reading more, and I'm going to sit there, and I'm going to be reaching out, try to reach out to some attorneys. If there's some attorneys and stuff like that, you know, Yeah, it's gonna cost money. You know what? I'm not worried about money. I'm not sitting here trying to fucking, ask for a hand. Excuse my language and stuff. I'm not trying to ask for a handout. You know, like I said, I'm not one of those people, man, that likes to have to borrow stuff from people and then have to owe people. I'm not like that. That's not me. So, like I said, if you want to help support me and me drop more content and me be able to sit there, if you guys want to talk and if I can help somebody else out, feel free to DM me on my Instagram, on Threads. Feel free. Message me in here. You guys want me? You guys want to sit? You want me to sit there and reach out to some people and stuff like that? Let me know. Drop me a message, man. Let me know. Say, hey, hit me up. Like, I'll hit you up, man. Like, I will try to network with other people. I want to network with other people. That's what I want to do. I really want to network, man. I love networking with people. So like I said, man, like I do. I was doing a lot of music stuff, a lot of promoting, DJing, all that stuff like that. Like I said, man, my Instagram page, man, like I've done that. DJ Capone, Pretty Ricky, Sloan Bone, Crooked Eye, Swifty McVeigh from D12, all the, Trick, all them. I've already met all them guys, man. Like I've met all them guys, from concerts, from promoting, backstage, VIP, all that stuff. Man, my Instagram is Dime Entertainment, DJ Mike D 313. Look at it if you want. That'll back it up right up on there. ICP Studio. But I remember, Shaggy, Too Dope, and Violent J, and all them guys. I remember hanging out back with them guys when I was 13, 14, 15 years old with ICP. Little Joe C from Kid Rock. That was one of my best friends. The little short, little white dude, Joe C from Kid Rock. I'm 3'9" with a 10-foot dick. That was like one of my best friends, man. I used to hang out with him all the time, man. I grew up with him. So like I said, man, I'm about to start getting back into what I want to accomplish. I have my mind and my focus is going to be that stuff. I'm going to get back into it. I would really like to network with other people. We could even network up here where I'm at right now in Michigan. Like I know a lot of the Indians that are the tribe up here and get access to the right people to put on shows inside the casino, outside. I can get access with those people. Like, so I'm telling you, I can network. I got connections. So like I said, man, like I don't like to sit there and have to owe people, man. I'm not like that. Like I said, if you guys want to sit there and help support my channel, my content, and if there's anything that I can help you guys out back in return, if it involves in the court system, the justice system, if it's something that I've been through and you guys been through it, and if I can help you guys out, man, I'm all here to help you guys out, man. I really do. I really, because I know what I went through, man, was some, like I told my son, what I've experienced in these last 5 years, and I'm not talking, if you want, I can go back to 2016. From 2016 of losing my ex-wife, and then losing my father in 2020, and then losing my mother in 2023, and having to save my mother's life 3 times with the help of 911, watching my mother turn blue and die. And then I go through this stuff, and then from 2021 up until now, all the stuff that I've been through, the corrupt stuff, all because I filed and demanded for an investigation to be done on these people because of all the corruption and their wrongdoings. They wanted to turn it around on me and start investigating me. I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid. I said it to my family. I said it to my kids. I said it to my little small circle of friends that I have that are my friends. I'm done with it. Now it's time for me to walk the walk. And like I said, if anything happens to me, I'm not suicidal. I'm not delusional. I'm not all that crazy stuff. That's not me. Sorry. So if anything happens to me, it is because of the government, law enforcement, whoever is surveilling my home, trying to do all this spiritual war, witchcraft, all that stuff like that. Man, if you got that much hate, maybe you should try working on yourself then, man. Like maybe you should think about turning your own life around, man, if you got that much hate towards people. Because if you got that much hate towards people to where you got to do spiritual warfare, chemical warfare, all that stuff like that, if you got to do that to sit there and hurt somebody else and try to take somebody out because of standing up for themselves, standing up for their kids, standing up for their family, standing up for their homestead, protecting and defending all that, because it's the right thing to do. It's our rights as a citizen, a legal law-abiding citizen, a natural-born legal law-abiding citizen. Like, it is what it is, man. I know my rights. I know what like I said, man, just from here on out, man, it's going to be a whole different conversation, man. I know a lot of people and stuff like that, probably getting sick and tired of it, but, it is what it is. I'm going to drop my content. You drop your content, And like I said, if anybody wants to help us, support and stuff like that, my Cash App thing, man, is up on it. It should be up on the thing, man. DJ Mike D 313, or I'll put it. If it's not, I'll put it up in my on my bio thing. And if people want to help out and show some love and some support to help me get through this stuff, man, I appreciate it, man. And I want to be able to get back and help. So like I said, if you guys can help me out and teach me some things about, the YouTube stuff, Darren, like I even watch Darren's stuff, man, on YouTube and, about the analytics and all that, but there's still things like that he probably hasn't showed that, I don't really know about this YouTube stuff. So like I said, man, if you guys can help out, show some love, show some support, man, I appreciate it. Drop comments, if you guys want, to network, whatever, drop your stuff in, drop it in the comments, man. Hit me up. I'll hit you guys up. Like I said, I got other ways you can get in touch with me, but I'm not putting that stuff on YouTube. So, like I said, if somebody's calling my stuff, if you call my stuff and you can't leave a message on my stuff, I ain't got nothing to say to you. I don't answer just any number and every number or whatever like that, especially with all the scamming, the hacking, the corrupt stuff going on. It's not happening, man. Like I've been like that for 30 years, like 30 years, man. If you ain't stored in my phone, and if I have no other way to get in contact with you before we sit there and swap numbers with each other and talk on a personal level, like off of the internet, leave me a message or say, hey, this is my number, hit me up. I'll hit you up. Don't be trying to pull no fake shady snake shit, because I'm not about that. I'm not about that shady fake, all that. You can take that, like I said, you can take that shit somewhere else. Because I ain't got time for that, man. If you're a snake and all that stuff, and you're shady, like, and you can't keep it real and 100, man, then just, don't even bother, man. I don't have time for that, and I never had the time for that, and, it is what it is, man. So, like I said, man, I hope everybody has a good, weekend. God bless everybody. Prayers to all the, to the states and stuff like that, with the tornadoes hitting, especially here in Michigan, man, the rivers and stuff, man, the levees and the dams, it's all flooded and stuff, man. Prayers to all those guys like that. And that's what really bothers me, man, really. Cause like the type of work that I did besides the promoting and like the entertainment stuff, whatever, like DJing, I used to do environmental work, man. I used to do first responder, search and rescue, emergency, all that stuff like that, like confined space, natural disaster stuff. Like I used to do all that, man. And I wanted to and that's honestly was one of my goals, man, was to start up one of my own businesses in that type of stuff and be able to be out here when stuff like this happens, man, to where, you know, we could be out there helping, you know, other people, you know, we could be working, you know, doing, like, I got stuff, man, that I have set in mind and I've had for years. And, you know, from 2018, and when I got my license back in 2018, man, I seriously thought that it was about to start taking off. And, you know, I got the setback. I got the setback from this, you know, and I'm glad that I did. You know, it is what it is, man. And it's just like I said, now it's time for me to, you know, to fight. You know, to fight, really, really seriously fight about this. You know, and like I said, I really did not have the intentions or anything to, you know, take this to court, you know, in civil matter. You know, I've said it, you know, a few times, you know, that I was going to. I seriously feel like you know, now is the time that I have no other choice, man. So, like, I am going to be reaching out to two attorneys, not any attorney. I mean, if there's attorneys out there that want to, you know, that can help me and, you know, want to try to help guide me, you know, in the right direction, like, you know, DM me, man. You can DM me on, like I said, on Instagram, you know, DJ Mike D313, or Threads, DJ Mike D313, or you can drop stuff, information in, you know, in here. If you want to drop your content stuff in the comments, man, to where I can see them, and, you know, to where I can hit you up, you know, drop your information, you know, leave it in the comments. Like, I'm trying to reach out to some people, man, that can, you know, help me through this, because like I said, what they did to me and they still are doing to me, and I'm glad my neighbor knows about it now and my neighbor's aware of it, and he warned me today that they were hovering over my house with lights flashing green and red, and it was just hovering over my house last night between 12 and 1 o'clock last night, and they even took pictures of him and his friend. They took pictures of him and his friend last night, because he was showing his friend what I told him about it. He had no clue about it. And when I said something to him and I showed him it, he was like, I'm glad you showed me that. And then now he told me today that they were hovering over my house last night when I was laying in my bed, man. Laying in my bed, going to sleep, everything like that, man. You know, they were hovering over my house still. So, like I said, when they were hovering over my house, man, they're just making their situation more harder and more worse. Because like I said, all I do is sit here at my home. I can't do nothing because of these guys, you know, not giving me my license. I got a Yukon sitting right here behind me that I can't even get registered in my name and to even drive the dang thing. My own Yukon. I got my own Yukon right here, man. You can see it right there. I got my own Yukon. So, you know, you can't sit there and better yourself and be the person who you want to be if you can't be out in the community, out into the free world, man, and be able to put an impact into society to try to help people, man, try to help the youth. You know, you can't, man. You can't. So, like I said, man, I'm going to get up off here, man. I know there's haters out there. You know, I can care less about the haters, man. You know, you can't. I must be doing something right, man. If people are out there talking crap about me, bro, and talking smack about me, dude, like, it is what it is, man. You can say what you want, man. You don't know me. You've never been around me. You don't know jack shit about me. So you can go off of the YouTube, you know, all these channels that go sit there and look people up and search, like, man, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. You know, like I said, I don't have a problem with talking about the stuff that I've been through in life, because that's the only way you become a better person. When you can own up to your stuff and take responsibility for the stuff, and you could be a man, and that's a man. You know, like, I don't have no problem with talking about my stuff. I don't have a problem with owning up to the stuff that I've been through in life. But the stuff that I've been through in life, I know there's a lot of stuff that I've been through Actually, I'm not. There's stuff that is on me that I've never even done. Period. But but the way they went about it, and the violation of the the constitutional your constitutional rights, you know, dude, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Now that after all the stuff that I taught myself, I learned, you know, research, everything like that. There is so much stuff, man, that these people done to me, man, for decades. Like, it's crazy. Now is my time to stand on business, and now is my time to sit there and fight for my rights and my family, my kids, being a father. And it is what it is. Like I said, I'm not gonna say, I'm not gonna sit here and keep rambling on about these guys or whatever like that. I've already dropped enough content. Now I believe is the time that I have to sit there and file the 20. Now I got to sit there and file the $20 million. The default to judgment that I have in the courts right now, that's been sitting at the courts. Now is the time that I feel that I have to go file this stuff, and the cease and desist. I seriously, deep down inside, thought that I would have heard something from the Attorney General. I would have sat there, heard from the Secretary of State Department, the Office of Hearing Administrative Oversight, the courts. Like, I seriously thought under my rights and what I did, I seriously thought that I would have heard something back by now, and I haven't. So now they leave me with no other choice but to sit there, reach out to an attorney, and take this to legal matters. They don't want to sit there and come to me and say, hey, everything on your side is all white, clean, everything like that. Like, because by the rules of law and the codes of conduct, all this stuff should be off my record. I should not have nothing on my record, man. And the stuff that is on my record, I know the stuff that I need to go back and fight. I know the stuff on my record that I need to go back to fight and prove my innocence. And when they violated my rights on excessive force of bails and fines and all that, fines and stuff like that, was that like your Fourth and Eighth Amendment? Your Eighth Amendment? So, like, it is what it is, man. If they're going to keep me here at my home to where I can't be out in society and do what I want to do and be the person that I want to be, if they're not going to give me my license back and compensate me for all the damages that they've done to me and caused for me, my kids, my family, targeting me, trying to harass and intimidate me while there was an open pending case going, all that stuff, I have no choice but to sit there and file the stuff and fight the stuff myself in the legal way. So, like I said, any attorneys out there that are serious and really want to, connect to where I can reach out to you and, help me through this stuff, let me know how much it's going to cost. And, I will try my best to do whatever I can, to get the money up. I know that I can, there's ways to where I can get the money up. Like I said, man, I'm not one trying to ask for no handout, all that stuff like that. Like, if you want to help and support, just like everybody else on here, hey, if you want to help and support and donate to my channel and all that stuff like that, here's my Cash App, here's my PayPal, my Venmo, my this, that. Like, it's no different, man. It's no different. Everybody else out here does it, so what's the difference if I do it? So, like I said, if you guys want to help out, there's no shame in my game. I am in a time, I shouldn't even be in this situation, and I shouldn't even be going through this. But like I said, I am in a time right now to where I need to, focus on the stuff that I need to focus on, and I need to, do the court documents and all that stuff like that. Like, it's time for me to really do this. And I'm not going to keep talking about it, rambling on, coming on here saying, oh, they're surveilling my home. I'm not doing spiritual warfare stuff. Man, I'm back, man. I'm back. I'm back. I'm about to start doing some real stuff, man. That's some real content. You know, whatever's going on with other people out here in this world, like their personal lives, like, you know, oh, this person's going through this divorce. This person's going through, like, I'm not one of those to go sit there and blast everybody, you know, all these famous people. I understand that's content. That's content. You're talking about all these other people and their personal lives and everything like that. You know, that's how you guys get your content. You know, that's not me. If it ain't got nothing to do with positive and going forward and trying to build and, you know, make things better, you know, in society and for our youth and, you know, stuff like that, like the vets, the disabled, like, you know, if it ain't got nothing to do with anything to better our lives and our country, if it's your guy, if it's other people's personal life and stuff, you know, what they're going through, I am not that type of person to be sitting here talking about, you know, and just blasting people's personal stuff. You know, they're going through a divorce or that. Like, man, that's their personal life, man. That's their business. You know, I know that's how all these companies, you know, high, you know, people that are real high up, you know, like TMZ and all them guys, you know, the paparazzi and all that. Like, I understand, you know, that's how they all go, you know, and do their stuff. But that's how they do it. They've been like that for how many decades? How long now, man? It's popping. You know, TMZ been around. You know, but like, I'm not one of them content creators to sit there and go and pull up famous people's personal life, personal business, all that stuff like that, what they're going through. That's not me. I'm not that. You know, I want to do positive things. I want to be a positive impact, not only on social media and, you know, YouTube, whatever, but out in society, man, and out in the free world and stuff like that. I want to be able to be a positive impact out there and to help better our country, to help better our states, to help better our cities. You know, I'm not one of these corrupt people, you know, and I really think that's the time is, man. The time is we got to do something about the corruption, and, you know, we got to make a change for the new, you know, for the future, man. You know, I know they're talking about all this AI stuff and everything going to be, man, like, if we don't stop that stuff now, then yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen if the stuff is not stopped right now. And that's what needs to be done, man. All this stuff that is being, you know, illegally and wrongfully done to us in our country and our states and all that stuff like that, if we don't put a stop to that stuff, then yeah, all this new generational technology, AI, all that stuff, like, I personally don't have nothing against all that, like, you know, AI, ChatGPT, all that stuff. Like, I don't use that stuff. I don't use it. I really don't like it because you can be false, you know, targeted, you know, you can be falsely framed for stuff that, you know, no, you know, illegally and unlawfully, wrongfully, you know, wiretapping people's stuff and, you know, their device, like, that's wrong, man. And that stuff's, and that's a violation of your rights. You know, like I said, you know, if they thought that I was doing stuff illegal here, then, you know, they should have did something. And like I said, I contacted them 4 times. I reached out 4 times, 3 times on the phone, 1 time in person. I tried reaching out 4 times to talk to the chief and offered for the chief to come out here to my home personally. So, like I said, anything from here on out, anything happens to me, my kids, my family, my home, anything, it is done by them. It is done by them. And it is a violation of my rights. And from, like I said, from this point forward, they all know what they did. They all know that they were wrong for doing what they did. Sorry, I had to be the person to expose it. Sorry, but not sorry. And that's real talk. Sorry, but not sorry. Because you know what? Before it happened to me, it was happening to many other people in this area. So many people in this area that they have been targeted, you know, drugs planted in their vehicles, you know, the people that don't even do drugs or anything like that, you know, stuff being planted into. No, man. No, that is wrong, man. Sorry, I had to be the one to stand up against you guys and expose all this stuff, and I will not back down. You guys did what you guys did to Ted Visner and I watched all that stuff, yeah, he might have been, part of the, I'm not going to get into his personal stuff, but anybody wants to know what was going on before me, go look up Ted Visner. TEDVISNER. Go look up his channel and and watch all his content and watch what these people did to him. And that was all before me. Seriously. And he was trying to run for sheriff, all that stuff. So I'm telling you, you guys really want to know what was going on up here and what's been going on? That man right there, Ted Visner, was exposing it all. He had ties in with his family in the courts and all that, like the same courts, the same judge, all that stuff. So like I said, man, if they want to hold a grudge against me for protecting and standing up and defending myself, man, like any other, like they would do if it was them, because if it was them in my shoes, they would be doing the same thing, if not worse. If not worse. So, like I said, man, if I was really to want to scoop down that low and all that stuff like that, and was really mentally all messed up in the head and everything like that, I could have done something to these people. But that's not me, man. I'm not going to scoop down to that level, because you know why? Because now they're the ones that are being exposed for everything that they have done to me, to my family, to my home. And now, once I really start getting my YouTube channel going, there's going to be so many other people from this area that I will be coming on and bringing on to my platform, and I will be bringing these people on to tell their stories. So when these people come and they tell their stories, I'm not the only one, man. And I honestly feel deep down inside, man, I know people personally who have gone through the stuff. I know people that know people who are deceased and hear the law enforcement and their son, here people think that this was a murder, but they covered it up. Supposedly they covered it up, and her toxicology report come back, and all this, like, it's crazy, man. And I'm not making stuff up or anything. Like, I know people that knows about this stuff, and like I said, when I can get my YouTube channel up bigger to where I can start bringing more people on and doing the live, when I can get all that stuff figured out to sit there and bring a bunch of people in, whatever, I am going to be reaching out to these people to see if they want to come on my YouTube channel and if they want to sit there and be able to share their content, share their story, share, stuff that they know, like that. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's sad, man. So like I said, I'm going to be done here, man. Like I said, from here on out, I'm not gonna sit here and talk about these people anymore, because it's obvious, like I said, that I must be doing something right. Because if these people are sitting there talking crap about me when they don't know me, never met me, never hung out with me, don't know jack crap about me, if they want to sit there and do all that, they can do it. I don't care. I'm drawing my line right now from here on this topic. Now is the time for me to sit there and focus on legal matters in this. Since none of them has reached out, tried to offer, none of that stuff like that, I'm leaving it all in God's hand, and whatever way that God directs me is the way that I am going. When my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, God Almighty, sits there and directs me in whatever way possible to sit there and get the outcome that I deserve for everything that I've been through with this stuff, with these people, for all the illegal, unlawful, and wrongful stuff that they have done to me and violated my stuff. And I've tried commenting and reaching out to, on all these their platforms, you know, sitting there saying, you know, news channels, all that stuff. Like, I've commented on there, and it's all in my YouTube stuff. Unless they get, they're going. I know they're messing around with my device, all that stuff like that. I already know that. I'm not like, it was crazy because yesterday, man, like I was talking about my disability in those forums yesterday, and it was literally crazy when I ended my stream. I get a phone call from the disability office from some guy, I guess. I don't know, the guy, this is the second time he's called and he never said his name. So, you know, he said he's trying to reach out to me and stuff. So, like, you know, I don't even know your name. Like, you're not even leaving your name, none of that. And then here I've ended my stream like around 5-ish, and now I'm getting a phone call from some guy saying he's from the disability Social Security office, like, talking about the forums, you know, about how it says, do I got a problem with, you know, authority, like law enforcement, police, and teachers, and like, it don't add up, man. I'm not stupid. So like I said, man, God bless everybody. I hope everybody stays safe, man. You know, watch your surroundings at all time. You know, protect yourself, your family, man. You know, people out there, you know, in this world, man, that needs help, you know, help, man. You know, help them out, give a hand, because, you know, when it comes back to you, you know, you'll always remember that, you know, it's being paid forward and, you know, back to you. So God bless everybody, man. Y'all stay safe. Much love, respect, peace, and salute, man. I'm out. Like I said, from here on out, I'm not talking about these people no more. I know what I need to do, and I know what needs to be done, man, and now it's time for me to sit there and reach out to people and, you know, get to work. I love y'all, man. Peace.